Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Backfire Simsport TV. I'm Clyde Whiting, and tonight we have round 5 of the BSTV GT4 TCR Challenge live from Barber Motorsports Park. So, in the booth with me tonight, as usual, is Mr. Pete Bingham. Good evening, Pete.
Good evening, everybody.
And we all also have, back from his sabbatical, Mr. Bill Switzer. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, Clyde, Pete, and Sam. Nice to be back.
The guys are having a few technical issues at the moment. In the background, we have Mr. Sam Boozing doing all of our magic and wonderful things that you see on your screen. So good evening, Sam.
Good evening, Clyde, Bill, Pete, and everybody watching.
So, Pete, I'm hoping you've got your technical issues sorted out. Barber Motorsports Park, that's a tricky little track.
Yeah, it's about as famous for crashing and its sculptures as it is for a racetrack. It's brilliant, though. It's one of my favourite tracks.
Yeah, it's tight and twisty, but it's also, some places in the track are very, very wide. You can see these drivers may try and take some different lines. Not that it always helps, but, we're looking at a really close fought race tonight, I think.
Yeah, I think you'll see, if this track's anything to go by, quite a lot of crashes. This place is easy to crash at. It's got lots of elevation changes. It's got some really tight corners, some heavy braking, over crests of hills, and that just destabilizes the car really badly. It's a crash-tastic course, and you don't crash in traffic necessarily. You crash all on your own. If you try and push in any of these cars on this track, in any car on this track really, it'll have you straight away.
Right, so crash-tastic is the way that Pete has described it, everybody. Good evening, Oliver, on the chat on YouTube. If Sam could just get the current standings up for us for GT4, we'll just have a quick look at what is going on. So we can see that Andrew Hopley has a commanding lead at the moment. He's won all 4 races so far. Stuart Dick is fighting with Craig Cameron for 2nd and 3rd places. Tom Stanley is heavily in that battle as well. And Simon Field in 5th. We have a look at the TCRs. Once Sam has pushed the button. So we have Kevin Veermont currently leading the way. Carl Shaw in 2nd. Chris Shaw in 2nd. I'm making names up like Pete again. Carl Hardy in 3rd. Scott Malcolm in 4th. And David Ayres is currently running 5th. So, can you see anything different happening tonight, Pete, other than a Hopley win in the GT4s and a Hardy Veermont battle in the TCRs?
Well, those things have been extremely entertaining each week. I think someone's going to take it to Hopley, Andrew Hopley. And I think it might be one of these asymmetry cars, because they've been very, very racy. They kind of got in each other's way last time, if we're being honest. I think they've got the competition for him. And this track can be a bit random. And like I said before, because you've got lots of blind corners, blind turn-ins, you can crash all on your own very easily. I think it'll definitely add to the entertainment value, if nothing else. And I think we might see someone different at the top of GT4. As for the TCRs, Kevin Veermont has been up there pretty much every time. Carl Hardy's been right up there. But the David Ayres-Carl Hardy battle rages on, doesn't it? So I think we might see something good there.
Yeah, definitely. There's not going to be a massive difference in times between these guys here. We see Abdul Al-Amri, or Triple A as we call him, come into the series. And he's shown pace, right from the start. So, maybe he can get up there and challenge Andrew Hopley. But you can't really take it away from Andrew, can you? A couple of wins on the trot, you can say, perhaps a driver deserved one and got lucky in another one, but he's eventually in all 4 races driven away from the field. Somebody's going to have to do something special to stop him.
Yeah, and I think the field here is pretty strong already. I've seen a few of these guys in the officials, and they're no slouches. There's plenty of capability in here, and I think that the top end of the field is going to be very competitive at this track.
And it could all just boil down to a mistake.
Yeah, and we've seen plenty of them.
Yeah.
We're not exactly going to tracks which are an easy ride, are we? Some of the tracks that we've been to already, like Mosport, like here, they're very technical tracks, really, aren't they? That you've got to approach corners with some degree of trepidation until you are absolutely certain of your grip levels, of the line that you're taking into them. Turn 1, 2, which is the one that goes up the hill and very sharply right. You do that in 3rd gear in this car. And if you get it wrong, you just keep ploughing along outside and further out towards the grass. And the other thing with this track is if you do go off track, the grass has a kind of pile on it. So you follow the pile of the grass, and the grass generally leads you to the barrier. Turning your wheel doesn't do very much once you're off the track at this particular track.
Yeah, and as you were saying, these cars are all about momentum and carrying speed through the corners, because you haven't got an 800 or horsepower V12 engine in the front of them. So there's a very, very fine line between carrying enough speed and carrying too much speed, and seeing your rear wheels overtake your front wheels, Pete.
Yeah, and the corners that Ant's going through at the minute. Oh, by the way, I think Ant will be quite handy because we've done V8s around here quite a lot, haven't we, in the past? That corner that he's just gone through, if you go too fast into that, you're an utter passenger because the car's light. You've just gone over a hill. There's nothing to ground it, and you go bumping over those curbs and your history. That's also going to be a good place to get alongside someone and force them a little bit wide and take positions from them. And overtaking can be done at this track. Oh, there we see someone going wide there. And you can do a lot of overtaking. There's a lot of corners where you can do an opportunistic but safe overtake.
Yeah, and as you just sort of alluded to, there's a lot of elevation change on this track, and a lot of it is in the braking zones. I can remember, just seeming to brake downhill all the time, and it certainly changes the feel and the handling of the car when whenever you hit the brakes, you're getting a lot of weight onto the front wheels anyway, and then add to that the fact that you're going downhill, and the back of the car just does whatever it wants to, and like, as I said, sometimes it overtakes the front of the car, and we've seen in these cars that a lot of the spins are the slow, lazy spins that there is absolutely naff all you can do about. You can brake, accelerate, turn the steering wheel, but nothing is going to stop that car going round. Yeah,
and the hairpin, which is we won't be naming names of corners. Well, actually, we will be, because lovingly, this track has got such interesting names as Turn 1, followed by Turn 2. Not much adventure in the names of the corners around here.
Well, I think we can still get them wrong, like we do drivers' names.
Without a doubt. Turn 5 and 5A, just to add a little bit of extra into that one, which is this one. Thank you, Sam. That's the place where you're going to see those slow, laborious spins, and you'll go spearing off into the inside wall there. Someone's parking it. And you won't find your car again for a while, because those arm cove barriers are quite hard.
Yeah, so let's just have a look where we are at the moment. So we're about 6.5 minutes into the 15-minute qualifying session. And we've got Andrew Hopley currently sitting on provisional pole, AAA second, Tom Stanley third, Craig Cameron 4th. And Andy Perks has popped himself up there in 5th place. So that's your GT4 top 5 currently. In TCR, new driver just joined the league this week. Jimmy Custodon is up there in pole.
I thought he was one of the other ones because they all look the same.
Carl Hardy is currently 2nd, beating his workmate David Ayres into 3rd. Simon Chester 4th, and Scott Malcolm in 5th. So we leading the championship in TCR, Kevin Veermont. Maybe this isn't his track, or maybe he's just working his way up to a fast one.
No, that Jimmy is looking pretty racy, isn't he?
He certainly is.
That's a brilliant time compared to the rest of the field.
Now, being the professional I am, I've just started trading paints, so I'll get to actually see what people look like for real. Although there were some very, very interesting paints without trading paints running, so yeah, that was good.
So, just for the viewers watching, we're in the market for one decent commentator. Just one will do.
I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a party going outside my man cave window.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crap, but...
socially distanced, of course.
Oh, obviously, yeah. We're very sensible in this part of the country.
Well, I'm the owner of a new German car. Just wanted to let you know.
All right.
Yeah, BMW GT4 into my inventory so I could get on there.
Well, at least you're in, Bill. What do you think of Barber?
Well, I heard you guys talking, and you pretty much nailed it. It's the one thing that really amazes me about this track is this racing surface is extremely.
Did we lose Bill there, or have we lost everybody?
No, I'm still here. I think we have lost Bill, though.
I think he just faded out then.
So, viewers, you'll have to wait for a little bit longer to hear Bill's words of wisdom on Barber Motorsports Park.
And we was just getting to the good bit as well.
We were, yeah. Yeah, welcome to Alabama. Yeah, dear. Have you got trading paints on now?
Yes, still downloading.
Excellent.
Oh no, sorry. All files are up to date.
Cool. Simon Chester, he's one that he doesn't qualify well, but he finishes decent, doesn't he? He doesn't get...
Yeah, I think he's a bit like us, Pete, to be honest. He's not particularly quick, and I mean that in the nicest possible way, but he's a plodder. And sometimes, especially at tracks like this, if you're a plodder and you can stay out of some of the carnage that may happen, you end up with decent results, and you just continue banking points. You're not going to win any championships, but you'll finish quite high up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've done that plenty of times because I don't win anything. I just crawl around at the back generally with you. So what have we got going on at the minute? Andrew Hopley is still top of the pile, with AAA in 2nd. Just let me get some times on the screen and that'll help me do this. Tom Stanley is in 3rd at the moment, with his best time being a 1:30.17. That's nearly a second behind Andrew Hopley, and a couple of tenths behind AAA. Those two are in the same team. We don't run a team championship in this league yet. Is that planned, is it?
It certainly is.
Excellent. That'll add a new aspect to it. Stuart Dick's not put a time in yet, is that right? Or has he, and he's just gone slow?
Yeah, I'm seeing him. His last lap was a 1:33.
Yeah, even I can do better than that. I did some practice laps around here before, and I did a 1:30.2, which would have got me 5th, which is pretty good.
Yeah, so in reality, we can probably add 2 seconds to that because Pete's just knocked 2 seconds off.
Well, like we usually say, it doesn't matter how fast I go in qualifying. I never finish the race, so it doesn't matter anyway, does it? No.
So Stuart Dick has just come out of the pits again. So he's going to go for a qualifying lap now. There he is on screen.
He's in the camouflage version of that
I
car.
was just going to say that looks very military, doesn't
I
it?
can't see him when he's in the grass and the tarmac.
Perhaps he should have different colour wheels because that makes it all different.
Apparently so, yeah. Apparently the car is entirely different if you change the colour of the wheels.
Good evening to Tony Kloosterman from 43 degree Canada.
43 degrees? He's not in Canada. I've seen Canada and it's white.
Yeah, every time I see Canada, there's about 12 foot of snow.
Yeah.
So there's Tom Stanley.
Bouncing over the curbs.
Currently sitting in 3rd place in GT4.
Yeah, he's doing all right. Again, this is kind of the position he started out in last time, if I can remember that rightly. Again, the one that I'm confused about at the moment right now is Stuart Dick. I don't know why he's so low down the table. Maybe a ride and drive. Maybe this is his first go at it. I don't know.
Possibly, or possibly he's had a couple of runs already and had some issues.
I mean, there's not that many series go to Barber, is there?
No, and you know, we've only got a field of 20 tonight, so we're a bit down on normal, but it is a tight track, so, you know, 20 cars around Barber is a bit like 40 cars anywhere else.
Yeah, it is. And there's some funny corners with some funny lines. So in the penultimate corner, as you approach it, which is the one where pit lane is almost dead ahead of you when you hit the apex, if you take that tighter than you should, it makes for a shorter corner, and it's actually faster. And we found that in the V8s a couple of seasons ago, and it's true of this car as well. Oh, and there you go. One slow turn for Man. One giant leap for AAA.
One dented BMW for AAA. So we are on board with Craig Cameron. Those curbs there can really unsettle the car.
They can, and this is blind into here. We're a bit higher than the head.
Yeah.
This is a blind corner going over the crest here, and your car wants to kick out left. And then you dive into the right. If you hug that inside as much as possible, you get a shorter line. He's going the standard way around. And he's in 3rd at the minute. You can do that in 2nd for a bit more grunt. This one you have to do in 3rd because you run out of revs. Straighten up the car. You'll see a big pile of old car parts against the side of the pit wall there, which is where everybody normally hits when they come out of the last turn and spin.
Everybody or you?
Me, yeah, but I'm including the rest of the human race in my analogy there.
So Stuart Dick has actually put a time in, but he's towards the back of the GT4 field. So
yeah, I'm going to guess he's a ride and drive and not done Barber much before. Because he's usually far up.
Yeah, he may get this lap in as well if he crossed the line in time.
The way he's driving would suggest he did. Because the session is now checkered.
Yeah, so his quickest is a 31.2 at the moment. This is going to be the last flying lap, I believe. For Stuart, anyway. Still a few cars on track.
Barber's one of those places where you want to be qualifying high as well.
Yeah, this is the pressure lap, isn't it?
Yeah, you want to be out of the traffic. It's not because it's going to benefit you later in the race, it's because you're going to avoid the crashes that are ahead of you, potentially. Although the starts for this league have been very good, haven't they? There's not been too much door banging.
Yeah, so Stuart just popped in a 30.6, which took him up to 8th in the GT4s.
Yeah, and he was the last running car, other than Charles
We've still
Kellyman.
got Charles Kellyman going, yeah.
So I'll run through the field before we end up running out of time to do it. So in GT4, off pole will be Andrew Hopley. In second will be Craig Cameron. AAA will be in third. Tom Stanley in fourth. Andy Perks in fifth. Double R in sixth. Robert Schonleber in seventh. Stuart Dick in eighth. Ant Woodward in ninth. Josh Rayfield in 10th. Robert Venn in 11th. And Simon Chester in 12th.
And your TCR starting grid is Jimmy Custodden going off from pole, Carl Hardy second, Kevin Viermont third, Scott Malcolm in fourth, David Ayres fifth, Chris Shaw in sixth, Frank Tibosh in seventh, and Charles Kellyman rounding out the TCR field in eighth. Excuse me. So the sky's looking a bit overcast.
Yeah, that should keep the track temperature down. Not sure what the track temperature is.
It's currently 74 degrees Fahrenheit.
So that's very cool, really, in the grand scheme of things.
We've got an evening race. It's 19:30 or 7:30 p.m. In sim. The drivers will get a parade lap, warm-up lap, whatever you want to call it.
Are they doing the full lap, are they?
I believe so, yeah. I think this is one of the tracks that you only got full lap as an option.
All right. Yeah, for those people watching, the newer tracks, iRacing has recoded most of them so that you start on a back straight somewhere. For the really old tracks, they're still registered that you will do a full pace lap before you do your first racing lap.
And I believe we are going to the Nürburgring. The long green monstery one. I'm just thinking whether I should be cruel enough to set them up as a full pace lap on that, which will take about 2 hours.
23 minutes later, they get driving. Brilliant. Love it. Right, we're going, are we? There we go.
Pace
we're rolling.
comes away. How's your timing tower, Pete? Because
mine's stacked on top of itself.
Yeah, same again. Yeah. I'm just going to ignore it.
Yeah.
Sam's fault.
I think so.
I think he does it on purpose. So I'm really looking forward to this. I had some inside information that tyre wear may be critical around here.
Well, when you consider that you're going downhill into braking,
especially in the TCRs, just watch for them.
Interesting. I don't see how the GTs are going to fare any better, front and back, to be honest, because you've got lots of uphill accelerating zones, which is just going to spin up your tyres.
Yeah, Porsche isn't too bad on its tyres, is it, compared with the BMW? But, you know, we've seen these guys coping with the BMW tyres, so...
Yeah, and I was talking to Gary Craig before, and he was saying that there's no tyre updates in the update that we downloaded today. I think there was just, he said, some NASCAR updates and bits and pieces. So you'll see the gap that the TCRs are leaving between them and the GT4s. Generally that's done so that you don't get tangled up in the GT4 wreckage. And you can have your own clean race in your own class of car.
Like a bunch of angry hornets at the moment.
Yeah, and pace car's going to leave the track in 2 corners at a time. You've got a little kink here, and then you've got the sharp right-hander that seems to go on for an enormous amount of time. So the pace car will peel off very shortly down that little access road there, and then it's for the lead car to choose when he guns it.
Yeah, so Andrew Hopley is now in control of the race.
And he's gone.
And he's gone. We are green. 1 hour to go.
GT4 field away. TCRs will be approaching that same zone, doing the same thing shortly.
So everybody's safely around turn 1.
Here we go.
And the TCRs have gone.
I can't tell which one's which. Of Jimmy Custodden or...
Jimmy is, I think, with the blue wheels.
Right.
And I think Carl is the green wheels.
Right, yep. Carl's in front of them.
Hoping that Carl didn't get a penalty there for overtaking him too soon.
Oh, I didn't even look for that, to be honest. But yes, you're not for the viewers who aren't used to racing. You're not allowed to advance beyond the pole sitter. 3 wide. That's not going to work, boys.
Yeah, they'll sort it out.
One way or another.
So that's Josh Rayfield under pressure from Double R.
And there go the TCRs into the same sequence of corners. This is a little chicane that leads into a very, very tight right-hander. And they'll be handier around there than the GTs because they'll get a really good amount of drive because you end up going slightly uphill at that point.
Yeah, and obviously being front-wheel drive, the car is just dragging itself around the corners and then up the hill. So it looks like our comrade Bill is having umpteen different issues tonight.
Yeah, I think he's got bad internet at the minute. Lovely sunset in the corner there, did you see that?
I did,
oh,
yes.
Beautiful,
the headlights are on the cars. You can just about see it on the track. So we may have a hint of darkness by the end of this race.
If we do, it'll be hilarious because Barber in the dark is just wild. There's nothing to see. There's no lights around the track.
I think Barber in the light is wild.
Look how tight they go around turn 1 in the TCR.
Oh, hello. What happened here?
Stuart, Dick and Josh, I think.
That's Josh Rayfield, yeah.
Yeah. There we go, replay. Josh Rayfield with Triple R just behind him. Diving down the hill into the braking zone and...
Oh, that was, yeah.
And that's messy at best. Robert Venn got caught up in that as well. As Stuart Dick and Josh Rayfield.
That was, word am I looking for? Opportunistic?
I don't think he was trying to overtake, was he? He just got his braking point wrong.
Yeah, possibly.
It'd be nice to see an onboard of it at some point and just see which way he was pointing his car, because it's hard to see on some of these camera angles. Oh, that's fighty. Who's that? David Ayres. He's having a proper pop at Chris Shaw there.
Yeah, so Chris Shaw has taken that position away from David, hasn't he? From the start.
Right, that'll explain that then. That's why he wants it back so much. The GT4s generally get all their grip on about the back end of lap 3, nearly lap 4. I don't know in the TCRs, I've not done any laps around here in them. Probably a lot earlier, front wheel drive car and all.
We've got Bill bedonging in the background, I think.
We do.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back.
Hey.
Shit.
We'll just describe to you what's going on, Bill.
Yeah, I'll draw you pictures, yeah?
Well, I was watching, but I couldn't say anything, couldn't get back on the air. But you guys are doing a great job, so let me get going here, and I'll be with you shortly.
Lovely. So Josh Rayfield showing his nose to Stuart Dick there, and then backed out of it. These guys are too far ahead of the TCRs. Can you see them? You can see them in the distance.
Yeah. Obviously they went round, didn't they?
Yeah.
Stuart.
Here we go. This is the crash.
This is the onboard that you wanted.
Ooh. I don't know what that was. It was either one thing or another.
Yeah.
He didn't make his intention clear. If it was a braking zone issue, then he's changed his mind at the last second and made a hash of that as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Stuart got caught up in that, as did Rob Venn.
Yeah. Although Rob Venn, not by too much, I don't think, because he's behind Ant Woodward.
He is, yeah. And Ant was down a bit on his qualifying, I believe, from where he normally is. So, yeah. Perhaps this is a track that Ant struggles with. He usually pops in for an interview, so we'll be able to ask him, or it might just be that he's not got any practice in this week.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that, because we've raced the VRs around here a couple of times, but I don't know whether that was like before Ant, in a year that was BA. Oh, we got an overtake there, have we?
Yeah, so that is Chris Shaw going past Kevin Vermont, who, although Kevin's got it. Whoa! Kevin, where you? Well done, sir.
It's not Tokyo. Somebody needs to tell him.
Yeah, Kevin is obviously championship leader. He's usually up the pointy end of these TCRs.
He is, and it's a surprise to see him in 4th. He's dropped 2 positions, has he? No, he's dropped 1 position, hasn't he?
Yeah, he didn't have a particularly... so I think he started in 3rd, did he?
Right.
In class?
See, the reduced field we've got is reflective of what Gary Craig was saying about the officials as well. There's not much attendance for this yet.
Yeah, I don't think many people are... people look at Barber, don't they, and they go, "Oh, horrible track."
Yeah.
Without even driving it.
Yeah, and when you get in it, it's nothing like that. It's absolutely one of those tracks that when you ace it, you got a big grin on your face and you think, that was brilliant.
You know, in real life, how bad can this track be? They race Indy cars here.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah, I bet that's terrifying at those speeds. They do a lot of bikes around here as well, don't they?
That's what it was originally built for. It opened in 2003, and it started with motorcycles, but and motorbikes, wherever you're from.
Mm-hmm.
So GT4s, Andrew Hopley has pulled out
Triple A.
Who was that?
Told you there was lots of spins in this one. Yeah. And his front looks proper mashed up. That's expensive, that. Where's he gone here? He's got he's
wheel on the grass.
Slow spinning into the Armco
I
barrier.
think he had a rear wheel on the grass.
Right.
You couldn't really see it from that angle.
He's doing the thing that I recommended last time. When you get any kind of damage in these GT4s, just box the car and repair it, because otherwise it's going to be horrible.
So luckily I didn't get a chance then to go through the GT4s, because it's just changed.
You'd have been wrong.
Andrew Hopley has got a near 5-second lead at the moment. Craig Cameron just been promoted to 2nd, Tom Stanley 3rd, Andy Perks is in 4th, and Robert Schoenlieber is in 5th.
And I'll do the TCRs, so because we're watching him for no other reason than that. Carl Hardy in 1st, much to the dismay of Davey Ayres. Jimmy Castoden in 2nd, Scott Malcolm in 3rd, Kevin Viemont in 4th, and Chris Shaw in 5th. Have we just lost Bill again?
I believe so.
Oh
dear. And that battle at the front of these TCRs is close, I believe.
Yeah, it is, and so is this little battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I think this is. Yep. Andrew Hopley seems to have checked out a bit, doesn't he?
2 identical cars.
Yeah, can't tell one from the other. Oh, one says Carl on the back.
Oh, yeah. They haven't put Jimmy's name on the back of his car, so...
He's not qualified for that yet.
If I was you, Jimmy, I'd be complaining about that.
Yeah, and if you want your name on the car, I'd stay behind Carl.
Or you could touch Carl and have Carl on the front of your car.
Yeah. Oh dear. It's a bit elitist, isn't it? Giving yourself your name on the back of your car, but not your
no
racing
no.
but they are properly lashing this out. That Jimmy's a handy driver, isn't he? Driving at that distance.
Jimmy's not giving him any... well, he's going to go for it here.
Yeah. Is he going to get that stopped? Oh,
He did.
That's good.
He did. There was a slight wiggle on the way in, but he did get it stopped. Carl's coming back at him. Be interesting to see if this can go on for an hour with no tears.
Yeah. Jimmy came out that last corner like a rocket. Has he got the same fuel on board, do you think?
Well, yeah, you never know, do you?
You don't know.
And if these two continue to battle, that's going to give Scott Malcolm a chance to close in.
He's stretching his legs now, Jimmy, isn't he? He's got a couple of car lengths, which is all you need. You don't get a great deal of toe in many places around this track because you don't hit top revs.
Yes, although Jimmy started on pole, obviously Carl took him straight away. So it'll be interesting to see if Carl's got the same race pace as Jimmy or whether Jimmy can actually extend his lead now.
Yeah, Carl had got that done before the second corner, I think.
Yeah. And then I wonder if Carl is screaming, "I'm in this championship, you're not." Multi-21.
Yeah. Team orders from the team boss. You're right. We just saw Abdul making his way back through the TCRs. Oh, that's a bit wide. Simon Chester taking the position there from...
no, that was Simon Chester losing a position to Stuart Dick.
Sorry, my apologies. Gone cross-eyed. Now we need two decent commentators. That's two decent commentators.
Yeah, so Triple A's got to make his way through the TCRs before he even thinks about attacking any of the GT4s.
Yeah, I don't know what the pit stop window is. Any idea?
No, I have no inside information on that.
I didn't do enough laps.
People have been very, very cagey this week for some reason.
Right. Interesting.
Maybe there's something funky's going to go on.
Yeah, we've seen a few things in the past, both in this and in other leagues. So
Tony is saying 40 laps.
40 laps. So yeah. Triple A's got to do another one minimum.
Yeah, but he's already been in, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's Robert Schoenleber with Roman Rateau, double R, in behind him.
It'd be interesting to watch Triple A try and get through this TCR field.
Yeah, he's approaching that three-way battle, isn't he? He's approaching the back of... Well, yes, is he right behind David Ayres now? I think he is.
Yes. Sam's just pointed out to me that I got that totally wrong. It's about 40 laps for the whole race, not for the pit stop.
Okay. I'm not intelligent enough or awake enough to notice that that was a mistake.
And nor did I.
So, yeah, Triple A's caught the back of this three-way battle. There's a bit of room between the cars now. They're not quite as tight up against each other as they were.
We could have been proper professional then and not admitted the mistake. And then when everybody started coming in, we could go, "Oh, they're all coming in early."
Just keep everybody on the edge of their seat.
So yeah, this is obviously hurting Abdul.
It will do if he doesn't get on terms with those TCRs. And of course they don't race the same racing line generally as the GT4 around here because the way that the car works, it doesn't require the same lines.
Yeah, and there's only 2 seconds. That's Carl going back.
Ooh, dear.
Teammates.
What are you doing? That's a locker room chat later, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's only 2 seconds a lap between the different classes as well. So the cars are stronger in different parts of the track.
Yeah, the TCR will drag itself around the corners a lot quicker, but the acceleration of the GT4 should separate it somewhat. But then you're accelerating uphill for a lot of these corners. and the GT4s won't like that as much.
I'm just wondering if all these Result Clothing guys are talking to each other in the same Discord chat, and David Ayres might be just sat there chuckling, going, "Go on, boys, keep it going." In the meantime, AAA has got past David Ayres. His next target in the TCR field is Chris Shaw.
And Double R is getting very much closer to the back of Robert Schönleber's car. But yes, is he diving down the inside? Don't want to do it there, mate. Whoa, and he's taking the short line through the penultimate corner.
Yeah, he gets the line for the next one there.
Yeah.
So
Good call, good line, good driving.
So Kevin Veermont will be his next target.
And of course, all these positions he's gaining here mean nothing. They're just obstacles, aren't they? Because they're not even in the same league.
Yeah. And I think the trouble now is that the next battle he's up against is Kevin Veermont and Scott Malcolm, who are in their own battle. So, you know, sometimes that can affect not so much drivers' concentration.
Whoa, where's he?
Whoa, who was that? That was...
I think that was Frank T-Bosch.
That is, yeah. Although Frank has been running at the back, so he's usually quicker than this.
So he's dived down the inside. Oh dear, there was contact.
Oh, yeah. He totally missed his braking point, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
He was never making that corner.
No. Oof. Oh, that was a bit of... Was that neck?
No, I think that was a bit of a neck code, yeah. They may have got away with that.
Looks like there was about half a foot between them. So off he goes again. Abdul is going to line himself up for 2 cars and 2 corners. Are we going to see that?
So yeah, as I was saying, you know, these guys are in their own little battle here. So
they're not going to give ground to him, are they? Oh dear!
Yeah,
I'm giving up.
You're
that's me
terrible.
done. I am awful at this.
Absolute rubbish. If anybody wants a job, please apply. The pay is terrible. The abuse is non-stop. So these two continue to go at it. Quarter of the race done so far. We've got Flubar009 very active on the chat at the moment. Obviously, we don't know your name. Please let us know and keep firing the questions. And if we spot them on the chat, we'll answer them for you. Oh, whoa! Jimmy!
Yep, that's going to be a very, very costly error, isn't it? He's just lost half the field, hasn't he?
How did that happen?
Was
he was, he had the line all wrong going into there.
Yep.
And that curb just spat him out. That was like, you want to go around me like that, do you? Not a chance.
Which corner was that? Was that the chicane?
Yeah, that little like S thing with the big lumpy curbs on it.
Yeah. If you get a bit airborne through there, then car just goes straight on, which is what happened. Did he hit anything like the wall?
No, just into the sand and down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. So he's back behind David Ayres at the moment.
Yep, that's going to be a lot of effort to get back on terms at the front if he can.
So Flubar is Connor. Welcome, Connor. Hope you're enjoying the show. So that Carl Hardy is now well ahead in the TCRs. Abdul has got past Scott Malcolm as well. So he's only got Carl Hardy to clear in the TCR field, and then he can get after the GT4s.
Meanwhile, Andrew Hopley's got a 5-second lead over Craig Cameron.
I'm seeing nearly 8, Pete.
Are you?
So yeah, I don't know if you're. I know you're up north, so perhaps you're 10 minutes behind the real world.
Probably, yeah.
So if anybody would like a job, please apply. You can see what I'm up against.
Still think you're wrong. Anyway.
So, Connor, as you're new and you're saying you're confused, so basically it's a multi-class race. We've got GT4s, which are the Porsches and the BMWs, and they're in one class. And then we've got a separate class of TCRs, but they're all on the track at the same time. But they are scoring in different championships. So there's a GT4 championship and a TCR championship. So although Carl Hardy is in 12th overall, he is winning the TCR race. So he will bag a load of points if he wins. There are teams in this, as you can usually tell by the similar paints. Although we don't run a team championship this season, it will come next season. So all these guys and girls, when we get them, are up against each other and battling it out. So Sam has just told me I'm late, but better late than never.
Yeah, and I was reading the wrong column.
So if anybody would like to apply for a job...
I hate having to admit that you were right.
It's horrible, isn't it?
It's awful.
But you must be used to it by now. I'm always right.
Apart from all those times when you were wrong.
Yeah, but that's not me being wrong. That's me giving you a test.
Oh, is it?
To
Right.
see whether you spot my mistakes. So let's have a look where we are. We are almost 22 minutes in to this. We're a third in. You can see the light is going. This is going to get interesting for these guys.
Yeah, it's going to definitely change the dynamic. I don't know whether anybody's done any practice in the dark. They'll be wishing that they had. Was it advertised at being that late in the day? I don't know.
We're not actually advertising race times.
Right, okay. Good job there's no weather in it then, isn't it? And yeah, it's very tight in the what do you call that, midfield from second onwards. Carl Hardy has got like a 3-second lead now. I'm reading the right column, so it's fine. And because of course Jimmy Castodden went straight on at the hairpin after botching something.
Yeah, you just see him in the background there as we got that TCR shot.
Yeah.
Andrew Hopley is nearly 10 seconds in front.
Yeah, he's gone. It's lonely out here, isn't it, Andrew? Although I don't know.
Yeah, my only concern, not really a concern, but at this pace, Andrew Hopley is going to get himself into the tail end of the TCR field.
Unless he pits the car.
They've all got a pit, though.
I know, but if he catches the TCRs and pits the car as he catches them, he might go back into open, clear racetrack.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to overtake TCRs by the end of this race.
Well, how far in are we?
We're a third of the way
20
in.
minutes in, yeah. We shall see.
We shall. We most certainly shall.
So this is back on again. This is
sorry, Pete. Just to prove that point, Andrew has just started a lap, and Frank Tibosh is a quarter of the way around his lap.
Right. Okay. You don't have to be right all the time, you know.
It's gonna happen.
So Kevin Veermont, Chris Short, David Ayres, back on the same bit of tarmac.
Yeah, Chris Shaw's putting a lot of pressure now on Kevin Veermont, which is allowing Scott Malcolm to stretch his legs and try and get away from this gap.
Kevin's got an excellent line into that corner.
and obviously David Ayres is tagged on the back. If these guys are all slowing themselves up, which I think they are, I believe Jimmy is catching them as well. So we're going to see another result battle at some point. We quickly switch there to Stuart Dick and Josh Rayfield that seem to have been going at it since the start.
Yeah, both victims of the same crash. And yeah, they've been together ever since. Obviously, you can see the effect of the lights now with the dark. It's getting very dark very quick, actually, isn't it? There's Ant Woodward.
Yeah, and it's always darker in the car.
Yeah, it'd be good to get an onboard at some point soon. That's quite close.
So, Ant Woodward has pitted.
Which is what I thought might happen. But he's pitted badly, hasn't he? If you take my meaning, he's ended up right in the middle of the TCR field.
Yeah. We didn't see anything that Ant had crashed that had forced him to pit. So maybe that is the earliest pit stop that these guys can do.
Maybe, and he does generally pit quite early, doesn't he?
Yeah, we keep harping on about the V8 and the Mailer effect, where he's been pitting a lot earlier than everybody else getting the undercut. But we say it every week, don't we? We've not really seen the undercut work in this championship.
No, and it might be just something that is unique to the V8s or cars of that class. Robert Schoenleber facing the wrong way for a second. Has he done a slow spin into the hairpin?
He's all on his own, isn't he?
And that's what I was saying before. You don't need a friend to crash here.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone straight on.
He's done well.
Oh,
he did do well. He carried too much speed in. The tail wagged. He got it under control, slowed down, and then right foot got in the way of brain, I think.
Yeah. Two in 2 laps for Ant Woodward, making his way through the field of TCRs. He's got Kevin Viemont next.
So somewhere in the up ahead, AAA has got past Simon Chester. So he's now after that Josh Rayfield, Stuart Dick battle.
I think there's a bit of a gap he's got across there, though, isn't there?
Yeah, but his lap times are quicker.
Yeah.
He's in the 130s.
Kevin Viemont looked a bit wild going through that last
corner.
Yeah. And he's boxed the car.
Okay, so that's another one in.
So are these guys going to take tyres?
Let's see if we can stick with him and see if we see the car go up on jacks.
Yeah, because you were saying before that the TCRs would be shredding their tyres.
Yeah, I know somebody has done a full race distance and one of his front tyres was down to 24%.
Whoa, really? There's just wheel spinning every corner. That didn't go
no
up.
tyres.
No. Oh, this is Andy Perks, isn't it? He's been caught by Double R. And passed. And
made very, very easy.
Yeah.
Is Andy coming in the pits? Is that why he facilitated that move? No, he's not.
Oh, he's gone round.
Okay, that was a strange one then. He didn't put up any sort of battle for that position. But then again, if Andy thinks Double R is quicker than him, we've said it, numerous times. Oh, that's just Craig Cameron.
Craig Cameron,
who was teammate in second.
Yep, teammate to who you thought it was. So he's thrown away a good position there, or he's on his own again.
On his own, wheel on the grass.
And that is a big impact.
Yeah, luckily these guys have got their fast repair.
Yep.
Good evening, Stacey, on the chat.
Super fan.
Who are we cheering on tonight then, with no Jamie Jeffrey in the field? So, as I was saying, Pete, before, every time I try and explain something, somebody crashes. Yeah, you know, we've said numerous times, pick your battles.
Yeah.
You can lose so much time fighting a battle that ultimately you're gonna lose. Whereas you could do maybe what Andy's just done then, and go, right, you're faster than me, I'll let you go. I want to carry on running my own pace.
Yeah, and you might have a different tactic in your head. You don't know what the other person's doing. They might be lower on fuel than you. The only times you really want to get fighty is if you're convinced that they're on the same fuel strategy, and therefore you are sharing an absolutely the same bit of track, and you want to win that bit of track.
Exactly, yeah. And just so you know, Stacey is cheering for Tom Stanley tonight, so that could put the mockers on Tom Stanley. If anybody's in the chat with Tom, don't let him know.
Yeah.
So Craig Cameron pitted. Well, he had to really.
He did, yeah.
Heavy damage on that car.
The car was 2 foot shorter than it was supposed to be.
Josh Rayfield has been in as well. Josh Rayfield is in at the moment in the GT4 field.
Oh, that was a tyre off.
And teammate behind him.
Yep, Jimmy's having that. He's already ahead of him before the turn.
So that's, I believe, who's just come out of the pits. That must be Craig Cameron. That's come out behind these two. So Andrew Hopley has a 16-second lead at the moment. Well, David Ayres isn't giving this up.
No, he isn't. He doesn't want to either, does he?
Well, no. And we've already seen that, you know, I'm not saying Jimmy's prone to mistakes, but he can make a mistake. So,
yep.
And then Josh Rayfield there is going to get past the pair of them. That wasn't Craig Cameron.
There's Ant Woodward approaching Carl Hardy. Carl will be due a pit stop soon, I would think. He's going again, though.
Yeah, so that's the last of the TCRs for Ant to get through after his pit stop.
Yeah, he'll have been hoping that Carl had just nicely peeled off in front of him.
Yeah. Flash your lights at him, Ant. Works every time. Good evening to Alan on the chat. Sensible there from Carl.
Yep, just let him go, give him room.
It's not a battle that he's going to lose any points out of, so let him go.
Get a bit of toe down the straight if you can. Those curbs are beastly, aren't they? They're massive.
Yeah, they can really throw the car.
You turn into this one half blind, and then you're totally blind going over the crest of this one. There's a track there somewhere.
It's so easy to dip a wheel on the outside there.
Yep. You got to be patient around that last corner as well, otherwise, not so much in the TCR, I don't think, because it's front wheel drive, but definitely in the GTs, you get a lot of wheel spin, and then over rotation of the car, and then you just spear off into the pit wall.
And just on the chat, and to make you feel better, Pete,
yeah.
Even though we are probably the world's worst commentators, Alan loves us.
Oh, right, that's fine then. Alan's just saved my job.
And Sam is obviously watching the chat as well because Stacey is cheering, or one of the reasons she's choosing Tom for tonight is his livery colour.
Right.
Yellow and black.
Okay. Also a lover of wasps.
Yeah, well, what's that Transformer thing that's yellow and black?
Oh, dear,
Craig Cameron
Craig.
again.
Oh.
Cold tyres?
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? Where is that?
That's what I was thinking of.
Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Where? I don't even know where that is.
So
It's a
he's
fast
hit
corner,
that
though.
curb.
Oh.
Oh, that was a
Whoa!
walkie.
It was such a big crash. He vanished.
7.8.
Yeah.
That was really weird, though, Pete.
It was odd.
I'd like to see that from on board. There didn't seem to be anything.
Here we go. Understeer, tastic. Grip on the grass. Oh, dear.
I think that was cold tyres.
Yeah? Well, I definitely think it was cold fronts, but that means
Because normally there, you go off onto that bit of grass and then there's that bit of tarmac that gives you a kick of grip.
yeah, but
he didn't get any there.
Thought we weren't taking tyres in this series yet.
Well, the cut tyres still cool down, don't they, when they're in the pits?
I guess so, yeah. Well, he's going to have to pit again, I think, because you can't carry on with damage like that.
We don't actually know whether he took tyres or not, do we? So
no, he will in a minute. So, Ant Woodward strides on.
So, just on pit stops, top 3 in GT4 have not pitted. Top 2 in TCR have not pitted.
Right. Okay. Craig Cameron in the pits. Repairs damage. Carries on. So he didn't
Was a
take
replay.
tyres.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he didn't take tyres on his stop. Oh, it's getting worse. Oh dear. At least those ones have got some padding.
Yeah, and he actually did well to get it slowed down as much as he did then.
Yeah, because we all know what the grass is like on iRacing.
I thought he was going head first into that one.
Yep.
So Craig has either got an issue or he's just driving angry at the moment.
Yeah.
Robert Schoenlieber, in the meantime, has been in the pits.
Andrew Hopley, though, has not. You can see the brakes glowing red now, which has always been a good feature of iRacing.
It has, yes. Yeah, and the number on the side of the car that you can see glowing is the position in class. So Andrew is 01, so he is first in class.
That looks a lot like Craig Cameron not pitting.
Yeah.
Although that's Simon Chester.
That's Simon Chester, yes. You're even confusing me now.
I know, yeah. It's catching, isn't it?
So if anybody would like a job...
So Andy Perks now takes over second place because Tom Stanley's in the pits. But he's got a monumental 25-second gap to the leader at the moment, who hasn't pitted. Jimmy Castodden is currently in second place in TCR.
Yeah, and he is chasing down Carl.
Yeah.
But neither of them have pitted.
No, and he's turning laps faster than Carl at the moment by about half a second a lap. So,
and he's took quite a bit out of Carl as well. There's only 4.5 seconds between them.
Yeah, something like that.
And Jimmy was quite a way down the field, weren't he? So,
but it was at the beginning of the race where when you crash, you lose a massive amount of positions, but not a lot of track distance. So maybe he's just recovered it really well.
Yeah, possibly. But we're coming up on 2/3 race distance. Track hasn't gone down in temperature at all, even though the light has faded.
Must be warm in Alabama at this time of year.
And yes, Connor, that's what we're talking about. He took a bit of time out of Carl, so the gap is coming down. Sorry, I've got one eye on the chat, one eye on the race, and one eye on the leaderboard. Luckily, I've got 3 eyes.
Don't want to know where the third one is. So,
It's the all-seeing eye.
Tom Stanley has come out of the pits in 3rd place, which is a bit of a result, really, isn't it? I think someone was trying to get through there on the chat on the race. But Andrew Hopley leads currently. He's still to pit. Andy Perks, has Andy Perks pitted? I can't tell because my thing's still stacked.
Andy Perks hasn't, no.
Right. So when that happens, he will likely drop behind Tom Stanley again. Tom Stanley's in 3rd, having pitted. Stuart Dick is in 4th.
He hasn't.
Guessing he hasn't. Yeah. Oh, Josh Rayfield.
Josh Rayfield's going round.
Those GT Amiga cars. He's staying on the grass, which is a good move around there because he would have done a dangerous rejoin otherwise.
Yeah, so that unfortunately dropped Josh to the back of the field. Andy Perks is in the pits. There he is.
Why is that Caleb?
That does look mangled, doesn't it? But that.
This is why.
That'll be why.
Dear. 2 wheels on his wagon.
Yeah, did he do a 720 then?
I think so. What do we give for that?
So I just noticed the number plate on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's obviously a tow back to the pits.
It is, yeah.
Which hurts.
Twitching away in there. That's a massive shame, actually. Do you think he's left it too long to pit, or were tyres not an issue there? Do you not think?
I don't know. I
and
really
Woodward,
don't know.
a bit wiggly coming out of that last turn, and he's now got. Is that Robert Schoenleber behind him? Yes.
It is. Yes.
Yeah. And this is what I was saying about racing in the dark at Barber. That you can't see anything. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's a good job his car's white, at least you can see Ant's car. Ant's taking a defensive line into there, which is good. So, making his intentions clear. If you're going to overtake me, you're going to go around the outside. Loss of grip there, I think, from Robert Schoenleber's car.
And 2 goes at turning in for that one.
Yeah. Steady on the gas.
Can we see that?
Can you see what?
Can we see that from the back of Ant's car? So that read my mind. I think Ant might have the pace on Robert, if I'm honest.
Yep.
They're both taking totally different lines, aren't they, in some of these corners?
And this is what I was saying, there's lots of lines into most of these corners. And you don't necessarily get disadvantaged. It's to do with how you set your car up, your driving style. Barber's wonderful for that. Whereas Mosport was, you got less of that. There's one line
because it's so slippery, isn't it? Offline. The only thing you hope is that these guys have practiced these different lines, because it's a bit of a mental thing to try once night time falls. Always.
He wants to do it there, doesn't he? He tried that last time out, and he's trying for the cutback or a cutback, but he's wiggly on the acceleration.
I don't know if he's just carrying a lot more speed into it, or Andy Perks has retired his car.
I thought he'd have had a fast repair in that, but
yeah, he should have done.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just angry with himself or something like, because he was having a really, really good run.
He was.
So our leader still hasn't been in the pits. We are nearly 45 minutes in now.
Yep. Can't no-stop this, can you? Well, not at his pace you can't anyway, can you?
I wouldn't have thought so, no. If he does, we're going to have to totally revise the fuel settings again.
Yeah.
And Stacey's just said, you know, it's hard not to follow the lights in front because you could be following them off track. I watched Pete in a race the other night, and Pete did it during the daylight. Followed another car off the track, so
I did, yeah.
threw away a win.
I did. Threw away a win, yeah. I was on him like a bad rash as well, wasn't I?
He was a lot faster than him, yeah.
Yeah. Tearful, that. Absolutely tearful. Did you see that? I couldn't get back on the track for ages.
Yeah.
A huge train of cars coming through. Oh, dear. Oh,
who's that? That's Rob
that's
Venn.
Rob Venn, isn't it? Yeah.
He was out on a...
It's turn 2, isn't it? No, it's not.
What's he done there? Too much speed in...
Tyre off.
Tyre on the grass again.
Yeah. Oh, that's painful.
Sparks.
Yeah. And you can see the red brake discs.
Yeah, so the edges of the track are really difficult to judge in the daylight, let alone at night.
Yeah, he's going to have to pit that. That's going to be horrid to drive now. That'll just mean that he'll crash again if he doesn't. And here we are with the TCRs. Thrashing it away still. David Ayres is now behind Kevin Viamont. He had Chris Shaw. Making up names again. Chris Shaw between them previously. So an overtake has happened.
Yeah. 1 and 2 in TCR have still not pitted.
I think Rob Venn went off track again after his crash. Ooh, Kevin Viamont with ping issues.
And Scott Malcolm was in front of this battle, wasn't he? Scott was in front of Kevin.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Something's happened there.
Behind all of them now.
Yep.
Did Scott take tyres and the rest didn't?
Well, we'll soon find out because he'll come hammering up on the back door of these guys. TCR race this week's fascinating, isn't it? Brilliant.
It's very close. Very close. Although, to be fair, I think the TCR's always, you know, round one we had, what was his name? Roberto Ferrari disappeared out into the distance.
Yep.
And then he's been missing for the last few rounds. But I think after that, the TCR battles have been fantastic.
Yep, absolutely. It's a shame that Mr. Ferrari hasn't returned to us since.
And that's not taken anything away from the GT4s because you know they're having some absolutely fantastic battles. Jimmy Custodon has pitted from second in TCRs.
Right, and that's ahead of Carl Hardy. Oh, here we go. Oh, bit of fishtailing going on from Ant's car, a little bit anyway. And that is Robert Schoenleber taking a position.
Gonna get it done here, isn't he? Oh, Ant's fighting back.
No, because Ant's got an amazing drive. Oh, has he? I don't know who's who now. It's dark. No, he's done it. He's managed it. Oh, boys. Nice camera work.
Chris Shaw looked at that and thought, here we go, I'm through.
That was me. I'd have been like, I'm not having any part of this. I'm staying out of the way. Although he's having a go here.
He's having a go here, definitely.
He's going to do 2 in 1 corner? Surely not.
No.
And he's bump draft for that.
Stuart Dick is in the pits. And you're right, Rob Venn has pitted.
Yeah.
The long one.
Yeah. Because I think he'd already done his pit stop, hadn't he? So
Yeah, David Ayres fighting back.
Oh, that's bad. Good save. Good save from Chris Shaw. Is he going to give it back or not?
Doesn't look like it.
No. I think there was a nudge, don't you?
Yeah, I heard something.
There's no flashing lights going on, so he can't be that angry.
Carl Hardy's in the pits and Andrew Hopley is in the pits.
Both are class leaders pitting on the same lap. I think you got a message.
Yeah, somebody loves me.
Been to Thailand lately?
That's Alan sending me another message. It might even be a job application.
That's funny.
So yeah, we've lost Charles Kellyman recently, and Rob Fenn has parked it as well.
Yeah.
So Carl Hardy, has come out in front of Kevin Veermont. Now, no disrespect to Kevin, but he was nowhere in this race.
He qualified lower down than where he should have done, or where he usually does.
Yeah.
And he had a bit of a backward shuffle at the beginning, didn't he?
Yeah.
But now,
But he's got himself up into second.
Is that right? He's 5 seconds or 4.5 seconds off.
Yes.
So that's not insurmountable, is it?
It's not, but we've only got 8.5 minutes left.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be driving a different car. How come Jimmy Custodden fell so far back when he pitted then, do you think?
Well, because he was in a bit of a false position, wasn't he? Because he had that damage and pitted early.
Yeah.
And then obviously had to pit again to get to the end of the race. So he's had 2 pit stops. Well, actually, no, he didn't, did he? He just had a big spin and damage. So
yeah. And he's about to get on very close terms with Scott Malcolm. Again, very different lines through turn 1.
Scott is 10 seconds behind Chris Shaw.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
That doesn't compute for me,
no,
unless Scott took tyres.
I think he had to have done.
He's either taken tyres or he's got some sort of speeding penalty in the pits.
Yeah. I thought Jimmy was catching him, but he's pulling away from him now, isn't he, Scott?
Jimmy's very, very good on the brakes, isn't he?
Isn't he? Crawling into the boot of the car in front. He's on the wrong side of the car for the next corner. It's defensive through there from Scott. And this is blind in the daylight. Imagine what it's like in the dark. Suppose you have got the car in front's lights to help you on your way. Oh, he's going to do him here.
Yeah, Scott tail wagged, didn't it?
It did, and I think he was like sizing him up for that. He's running wide here, but it doesn't matter because you end up on the racing line for the next corner. Even if he is all right on your bumper, at least you've got the position, and he's trying to break the toe.
And stay on the racing in the BMW? Is that Simon Chester?
I can't really tell in the dark. Oh, it's Tom Stanley for a start, and yeah.
Tom, yeah. What happened there?
He overshot the corner.
Door banging.
There was. And yeah, Jimmy's ended up behind him again, and now alongside. And now we drag race down to the hairpin with a GT4 probably not wanting to wait because he's in second place. And they are still side by side. Well, this is amazing racing. And a switchback. I don't think Scott's got the legs for that, though. No.
And Tom's just sat there saying, "Come on, boys, sort it out."
trying to get through. He might get a chance here.
I'm,
So Jimmy,
I'm 32 seconds behind Andrew Hopley. I can do this in the last 5 minutes.
there we go. He's done him.
Well, in
Look
all
at the lead
seriousness,
he's got. Good God.
yeah, I think Tom wasted about as much time as he could.
What happened there?
No, it looked. I'd like to see it again, but it looked like Jimmy took a massive amount of curb and bounced outwards. Oh
No, he didn't.
no!
He corrected his
He's
line.
turned him too early.
And then corrected his line, yeah.
Yeah. And by
Oh, here
that
we
time,
go.
Scott was there.
Kevin Veermont. Who's he dueling with? Is that David Ayres?
David Ayres and Chris Shaw.
Oh, there's 3 of them there. I couldn't see.
Oh
dear!
Whoa,
Is
that was Kevin. That was Kevin disappearing.
Yeah, and David Ayres on the grass. Chris Shaw managed to get 2 positions in 1 corner.
No, it's David Ayres is behind Chris.
That's what I mean. Oh, sorry, yeah. Chris Shaw got 2 positions.
Oh, I don't know if we could see that from
A bit further back.
board.
Oh dear. We're kind of inside the car in front, aren't we?
Yeah, it's one of them weird ones, isn't it, where the cars just hook together.
Right. Well, I don't know. It looks like he pushed him round.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that from a number of angles, but
yeah. Looking back from the rear bumper of Kevin's car will be an interesting one, I think.
When you look at the front of David's car, I think they're already touching.
Yeah.
And Kevin's trying to come across, and that just hooks him and away he goes.
Yeah, I think the stewards are going to be involved in that one somehow.
I don't doubt that.
So, yeah, Andrew Hopley's lead at the front of the GTs is a whopping 34 seconds. He's had some people to overtake recently, so he's not been too lonely. In second is Tom Stanley, who's been in the thick of it, and he's been around some of the closer. Oh, I've got to stop again. Ant Woodward.
Ant Woodward is stuck in.
He's in the barrier, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
That happened to me the other week, didn't it?
That's a toe. How the hell did he get there?
I think we're going to find out shortly. Although,
No.
Here we go.
Here we go.
He's in the fast bit, and he's got a lot of curb, and then he's got a tyre on the grass.
Around he goes.
And then... Oh.
Fireworks.
Yeah, and his wheels just fell off, and then jumped back on again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a toe. Big bit of curb there. That's never good. And then round he goes.
Yeah, that was always going to be a painful one.
Yeah.
So we've lost Ant. Ant has retired the car, and Kevin Veermont has retired his as well.
Right.
So that's going to have implications in the championship.
Definitely. I'm wondering whether people have been caught out by the night racing.
Yeah, could be.
Doubt people have practiced this. And it does make a completely different race of things. Because you just can't see the edges of the track. You know, you can't look as far down the track as you normally would and spot where your car's aiming at so well. It's not all muscle memory, is it? You use a lot of your other senses to understand what your car is doing and where you're pointing it.
Yes.
Which is why racing is so exhausting.
And obviously, we're off to another tight, twisty track next week in the classic Lime Rock Park track.
Oh, it's like driving around a teacup, isn't it?
So that's AAA all over the back of Double R.
He is, and look how much he's clawed back. Look where he is. 4th place. He was basically at the back at one point. He got wide there. He's a handy driver, isn't he? He's fast around all these corners, even in the dark.
I think I've seen him race before in other series, and he's done well.
Yeah. He's new on my radar, that's for certain, but...
So, we are coming up to the end of the race.
Yeah, not far from it now. In fact,
I think Mr. Hopley is on his final lap.
Are you able to tell, Sam?
Yep, final lap.
Cool, top. And not far from the end of it either.
No, so keep it on the black stuff, and a commanding victory for Andrew Hopley. The rest of the GT4 field are going to have to find something special to beat this guy, I think.
They are, yeah. He's really run away with this. And a bit of flashing lights there. Can just make it out when the lights are on.
It looks like they're bouncing, doesn't it? Yeah, well done, Andrew Hopley.
Yeah. Congratulations. A good victory there. You saw very little of the action, to be honest.
Carl Hardy just got to get it across the line for a victory in the TCR class.
Is that double R and
yeah, they're still going at it.
Yeah. This is going to go right to the end. I wonder
if drag to the line, isn't it?
It is. That was very close.
Double
R. Someone, you got in the way of someone's celebration.
I think
that was Carl Hardy. I think
Carl Hardy was possibly doing donuts
and got wiped out. Yeah, he did.
That's going to cost them points.
Is it?
Yeah, they lose points for every incident.
Ah, right.
And the incidents count until the last person crosses the line.
In that case, that is expensive. So, yeah, good effort, Andrew Hopley. In second was Tom Stanley. Third was Raman Ratto. Fourth was Abdul Al-Amri. Fifth was Stuart Dick. Sixth was Robert Schoenleber. Craig Cameron finished in seventh. Josh Rayfield in eighth. Ninth was Carl. Oh, no. Simon Chester was ninth in GT4. And then Ant Woodward, followed by Rob Venn and Andy Perks, rounds out the GT4s.
And your TCR finishing order: Carl Hardy takes the win, Chris Shaw in second, David Ayres in third, new driver Jimmy Castoden in fourth, Frank Tibosh managed to get up to fifth, Scott Malcolm sixth, Kevin Viermont seventh, and Charles Kellyman in eighth. So, Pete, tell us all about that race. Starting in the light, finishing in the dark, a very tricky track to start from, battles everywhere, a commanding victory, had a bit of everything.
It did. It had lots and lots of crashes, which I expected it to have. Some of them were dramatic, which I really wasn't expecting.
Don't judge everybody on your own performances.
I was wondering where you were going with that for a minute. There was quite a lot of overtaking in there as well, and some really good overtaking. Andrew Hopley ran away with the GT4s, absolutely, and it looked like Carl Hardy was at one point, but his lead at the end wasn't as massive as Andrew's was over his field. And then some people who probably would like to start the race again, because I think there was some errors. Some were night-generated errors. I think some were caught out by the fact that they lost the lights so much. And it does change the way that you race, and it does change your how you interpret your braking zones. And I think some people got caught out. But in terms of drama, it's way up there.
Yeah, certainly was. And as you say, some of the errors were night induced. We've had a message from Andy Perks that he only bought the track on Sunday and he had no idea where the pit entry was in the dark. So,
Right.
yeah, that just proves it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've got people lining up for interviews. So who would you like first? We do have the winner of the GT4s in there.
Well, I think we should have Andrew Hopley first. It's only fair.
Most definitely.
Good evening, Andrew Hopley. Welcome to the booth. Please don't swear. You are live.
Good evening.
So, you were having a drive in the country, were you? 30-second lead. Did you see anybody all race?
I didn't see what the lead gap was by the end. I know it was a hefty one. I didn't see what happened behind, but I'm guessing something happened. I know Craig. I saw his times tumbling. So.
Yeah, he had a number of incidents, one after the other, which happens in this car when you bend it. In terms of your own race, have you raced Barber a lot? Because you look like you have done.
I've just bought it this week.
I hate him, Clyde. I absolutely hate him.
I just bought it this week. But to be fair, you know, I've put the time in, I've put the effort in because, you know, the way that I mean, every race, every round we've been to, it's, you know, I haven't really run away with it that badly. You know, with Michael Gray in the first round, and then Craig has been on there as well, chasing me down. So it's been tough, you know, and I was paranoid basically. I thought, you know, new track, never raced around here before. So yeah, I've put the effort in, but as it turns out, I really like the track. It's something very British about it, which doesn't make sense, but it's got, you know, it's got that Brands Hatch, Donington, Snetterton kind of feel to it.
Yeah, it's got the elevation changes of Ulton with it as well, hasn't it? But
yeah,
so I can see where you're going with that. And night racing, how did you find the transition on this track, a brand new track to night?
difficult, yeah, very difficult. A couple of spots, the fast chicane on the back straight.
Yep,
that's very difficult in the dark.
Yeah, your lights don't hit it, do they? So you are totally blind on the second part of it.
Yeah, blind going in and blind coming out, so tricky. But feel you know, a few steady laps and you soon settle into it, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay, well, absolute commanding victory. You must have people you want to shout out to, so now's the time for that.
Yeah, well, big thanks for the broadcast. Again, a huge thanks to all the drivers that were in a blue flag situation tonight. Absolutely superb driving from them. Again, I appreciate that. I really do. You know, it's something, you know, I would do in that position. So, you know, thanks given we're due. So, and all the Meraki guys.
Okay, Andrew Hopley, our race winner for GT4. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, next up we'll get our second place GT4 car, Tom Stanley. Tom Stanley, welcome to the booth.
Hello.
Hello. This Hopley lad, he's quick, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. 30 seconds up the road from me. I did jokingly say to him we need to add some extra weight to his car for the next race just to try and balance it out.
Ballast. Yeah.
No, there's definitely no way I'm driving it. Is there anything you can do about it, or are you just going to be happy with you know, lower steps of the podium?
If he makes a mistake, I'll happily take it. But as far as looking at the championship, he's won every single race. He's pretty much got pole every single race and probably fastest lap at every single race. So I'm just trying to be the best of the rest, really.
Okay, so you know, how did you find Barber? Is that a track that you like? Throwing in the change to darkness as well. How did that affect you?
I was expecting a sudden darkness to appear at one moment where it was a nice evening and suddenly black. But otherwise, it was quite a nice change. It was quite interesting to being to dark tonight. But no, Barber isn't a track that I'm fond of. So to get second place, I will take that happily.
Okay, yeah. So maybe that'll move up your list of tracks. And you know, like I say, the darkness thing. We was asked at the start of the season to mix it up a bit. So we have. So before we let you go, Tom, anybody you'd like to thank?
Thank you for Abdul for holding the brakes so I don't go into him. Because I had to dodge quite 2 cars out of that to get second, so I'll take that. But yeah, well done to Abdul and Stuart for their fight back. And again, it's a good way to round out a birthday today.
Birthday?
Yes, I'm 28 today.
Happy birthday, Tom.
Thank you very much.
I would get Pete to sing to you, but you probably
No.
wouldn't race with us again.
Nobody wants that.
I'll probably be able to leave the session before you even start. So
Well, Tom, well done on your second place in the GT4 class. We shall let you go and hopefully see you next week.
thank you guys. Take care.
Okay, next up we've got the whole podium for GT4. So let's bring Double R in for you.
Double R, Ramon Ratto.
Hi,
You are
guys.
live on our stream. Please don't swear. So, do you like? Well, Barber's been kind to you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know the track before this race, but I like this track.
It's an interesting track. How did you find the elevation changes and the downhill braking areas and the uphill accelerating?
Yeah, it's that was difficult to train this for the temperature of front tire, and we have a lot of problem when we practice in the track to have a good temperature in the tire. So it was interesting for the future.
And how did you handle the day-night transition when it went dark? Barber can be a beast in the dark, can't it?
Yeah, that was a good surprise. I'm good during the night in general, so it's not a problem for me when I see the night in the track. So that was a really good surprise.
And you had some very close attention from Abdul in the last 2 or 3 laps. What did you do to keep Abdul behind you?
Yeah, during the race in the first part, I think he have a problem. He do a mistake, so I pass them. I pass them, and after when I pit, when I come back to the track, back to the track behind the TCR, so I lose a lot of times behind them, and AAA come back to me, and that was a really interesting finish.
Yeah, there wasn't much in it. It was very, very close. So congratulations on your 3rd position, bottom step of the podium. But do you think you've got an answer for Andrew Hopley?
Yeah, he's really good, and it's difficult to have her speed. So we try hard for the future, and I hope I have the same level in the future. So yeah.
Excellent. So have you got anybody you'd like to thank or a shout out to anybody before we let you go?
Yeah, I would like to thank my team, Mika Sport, my partners, nuage+.com and Kinus Pro. And I would like to thank my partner, Kevin Viemont, for the training and for the race. And I'm sorry for him because he don't finish the race. So
No,
yeah.
he had a pretty big accident, it has to be said. So Roman Ratto, Double R, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time round.
Thank you too. See you.
Okay.
I think you flushed him mid. Thank you.
That was mid flush. Yeah. Sorry, Double R. Let's get Jimmy Castonen in next, new driver, and 4th place in TCR class. Jimmy, welcome to the booth.
Thank you, thank you.
How did you find your first league race with us?
Absolutely amazing. It was just great. It was a ton of blast.
Well, we see you, how can we say this nicely, giving it to your teammates. There was definitely no team orders there. You had a great battle with Carl and a battle with David. So, you certainly went for them.
Yeah. It's a race. I'm here to win, but it didn't go that way, though.
And we see you had your spin and lost some positions there, and had to come back through the field. So that looked like good fun.
Yeah, that was just amazing. Like I said, the battling and that little accident. I don't mind that at all, because all in all, the whole race was just amazing. So I can't wait. I can't wait until next week.
Excellent. And you enjoyed the 1 hour format rather than the sprint races?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. And how did the night time affect you? We did see some drivers having problems once darkness fell. Did you take it in your stride, or did you have to change your driving style for that?
At first, it was quite difficult because we haven't practiced nighttime at all, so it was hard to adjust at first. But I think I adapted after a while. But I didn't get the same times though.
Yeah, that's understandable. Well, congratulations on your 4th place, Jimmy. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
I want to thank the whole team of Result. Absolutely, that they took me in and got me into this race.
Okay.
Yeah.
One last question. Lime Rock Park next week. How do you fare round there?
Not too good yet, but I'll be practicing, so I'll get there.
Excellent. Well, well done on joining the league. Well done on your 4th place, and we'll see you next week, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you. We talk soon.
Thank you very much. Okay, last but not least, he's been waiting a long time. We'll give him the big build-up. It is Mr. Scott Malcolm.
Hi guys.
Oh, I thought he was asleep then.
I did.
If it was, I.
So, Scott, you're going to have to explain something to us. You were racing right at the top for quite a long time, and then we looked back at the leaderboard, and you'd dropped quite far down from where you started or where you were at the time. What happened?
I have no idea. I went to the pits as normal.
Yeah.
Didn't change tyres. Put the correct amount of fuel in. I came out the pits, I was like 10 seconds, 11 seconds behind Kevin and Carol.
Yeah, because Clyde, you were saying there was a 10-second drop, didn't you?
Yeah, so Scott was in the thick of that battle when we see it, and then, like I say, the next time we looked up, he was 10 seconds behind at the back of the battle, and I sort of surmised that you either took tyres and the others didn't, or you got a pit lane speeding penalty. But you're saying it was neither of them.
No, I looked back to replay just in case I'd accidentally taken tyres, but no, 100% didn't take tyres. Checked the fuel was fine as well. So I can't explain it at all.
That's bizarre. And how did you find the day-night transition?
What happened? Did somebody just switch the light switch off or something? That was crazy.
It was quick, wasn't it? It just went dark. There wasn't much of a twilight, that's for sure. And did it affect the way that you drove the car?
After getting over the shock of it, no. Because it's just muscle memory. If you've done enough laps, it's all down to muscle memory. And I said that to the guys in the chat. It's just you're just driving with your muscle memory now. You can't see 2 feet in front of you, but
Well, I think 6th place is a pretty good finish for you, given the circumstances of mysteriously losing 10 seconds in the pit stop. Do you like Barber? Is it a track that you've raced at a lot before?
I've done 1 or 2 league races here in the Kias, but I think it's. I don't know. I'm actually glad to see the back yet. Who is it next week? Please tell me something a bit better than this.
No, well, you were very entertaining. You had some really close battles with loads of people. And was it Scott that was around for the Kevin Viamont thing? It wasn't, was it? That was David Ayres and Chris Shaw. So yeah, you gained a position when Kevin Viamont ended up not being able to finish the race. But congratulations on the 6th place. That's good, solid points. Anybody you'd like to thank or have a shout out to? Do you want to insult Clyde just before you leave? That's always good.
I never insult Clyde. He's doing a great job here. He's doing absolutely superb broadcast leagues. Everything. He's an extra 50 points for you at it.
It's in the bag, Scott. It's in the bag.
You're on my Christmas card list.
Right, thank you very much. Oh, go on.
No, I was just going to say thanks for joining us in the booth, Scott, and we'll hopefully see you next week at Lime Rock Park.
Oh, is it Lime Rock? All right, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe it's the classic version of Lime Rock Park, which could be the older version. So that could be interesting.
That's not too bad then. That's not too bad. Everybody should know that track by now.
Yeah, they should do, shouldn't they? They
Well,
should
I
do.
hope so.
So we're going to have to do it in total darkness and thick fog then, I think.
No, don't do that.
Okay, Scott. Well, thanks for joining us in the booth. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll catch you next week.
Hey, cheers, guys.
So that was Scott Malcolm. So, Pete, we've heard from the drivers. One of the big questions we had revolved around Scott. He has no idea what happened. I'm going to put it down to alien abduction.
Yeah, it has to be. Or Bermuda Triangle somewhere in Alabama.
I think alien abduction, and he probably got experimented on in the 10 seconds that he was up there. And you might have some extra appendages or something when he wakes up in the morning.
He can only hope. Hey dear. But no, brilliant race. Yeah, are you going to sum that race up? Because you usually put me under pressure to do it.
Well, yeah, I think as I said before the interviews, and we do say it every week, it had, I think every week, every race has everything in it, but a slightly different everything. So in the GT4 class there, we had Andrew Hopley with an absolutely commanding victory, the biggest one we've seen this season. And then the rest of the guys up there, it came down to mistakes. I think AAA was probably the best of the rest in speed, but he made a mistake. We see Craig Cameron, another one that, could get the vote for best of the rest up there. He made a mistake. Tom Stanley took away the silver medal because he didn't make a mistake. He had some speed and he stayed up there. So, I think the GT4s was fascinating. And then going into the TCRs, I nearly called them TC4s then, but into the TCRs, we had a similar thing. We had, I think, Jimmy was the fastest car, but as we always say, it's not always the fastest car that wins. You've got to have speed and no mistakes, and that's what we see from Carl Hardy. He had enough speed to be up there, and he had enough talent not to make any mistakes. So, he takes the win away. So, and then add to that the well, I'm not going to say what it is at the moment because we'll wait and see whether the stewards look at it. But the accident with championship leader Kevin Veermont, that's going to change everything around in that championship. So I think those two are going to be at it all season. It's a long season. It's 13 weeks. The drivers, excuse me, Kevin's probably going to be angry at this moment in time. But the drivers do get 2 drop weeks. So, that is something that after week 7, when everything gets ordered by drop weeks, Kevin's not even going to think about it anymore. So it's just we enjoyed the official races that we did last season, and we came up with this idea to do this league, but make the races longer. And I don't know, from my point of view, it's just worked. We've got the right racers, we've got the right cars, we've got the right race length. I think we possibly for next season need to tweak the fuel load to make the pit stops a little bit more interesting. But yeah, the drivers are making the championship everything that we hoped for. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah, it is a very exciting league. Somebody needs to answer the Andrew Hopley question, because he is going to run away with it if they don't, or they just step down on the podium and fight for second place. But he is head and shoulders above everybody else right now. The TCR league is hotting up, like you're saying. It has a great field of cars in there. Some more would be nice in the TCRs. And I think there's some people out there who are probably watching this and are interested in racing that car, and I suggest that you do, because it is interesting. It is an exciting ride, and it's got a good following for a reason. And yeah, you're right. We conceived this and thought, let's make our own league out of this, and it's very much worked. Let's hope it continues to.
Yes, and I'm sure it will. Plans are already in place for a season 2 at least. So yeah, onwards and upwards. So that was round 5. As we've said, round 6 comes from Lime Rock Park. Same time next week. We are back on Friday night with the official iRacing V8 Supercar Series and the European Strength of Field race, which I believe is from Silverstone this week. And then we are back on Saturday with more V8 action, because the Racetech V8 ESC League kicks off again with their media day from Phillip Island. So we've got a busy weekend coming up. So I will say good night and thank you to all our viewers. Thank you to all our drivers. Thank you to everybody that supports us in the background. Thanks to Pete. Thanks to Sam. Thanks to Bill, although he wasn't with us for very long. He's having a few internet issues in Florida. And I shall say good night. Let Pete say good night, and we shall close the broadcast.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Tune in next time. It'll be just as exciting as this.
And I will say good night, even if Clyde doesn't allow me to do it. So, good night, guys.
I forgot you was here.
Yeah, as always.
Who are you?
Good night, guys.
Seen you.